Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tales of Three, your favorite queer D&D-based podcast. My name is Dusty, my pronouns are they, she, and I play Ivy Nightbreeze Tinkerfey, whose pronouns are she, her, and I am very excited to unleash my mind on Véres today.
Yay!
Help.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ariana, my pronouns are she, her, and I typically play Alara Spindlespark, whose pronouns are also she, her, but today I am playing someone that I can't tell you about yet because I don't want to spoil the surprise. Yes, redacted.
How dare. Hello, everyone. My name is Wayra. My pronouns are she, they, and I play Véres, whose pronouns are he, they. And I'm ready and also not ready to get my shit rocked. So this is gonna be great.
Why do you assume you're gonna get your shit rocked?
Because it's you.
A note regarding content warnings. This campaign is a dark fantasy that deals consistently with topics of body horror, complicated relationship dynamics, emotional distress, fantasy violence, gore, mechanized spiders, mental health and illness, profanity, and romantic and sexual relationships. A full list of episode-specific content warnings can always be found in the show notes of each episode. Last time, we followed Alara's trail through the woods, where she got lost, faced off with some pixies who tried to restrain her but then got bored after she used her nanobots to create a shield of protection around herself, and after parting with some gold sand and a vial or two, our intrepid artificer found her way to the great walled city of light, Felismore. Upon meeting a guard who gave her the ability to temporarily understand Sylvan, she learned that Ivy's parents are the Queen's artificers, and a lot of things clicked into place for Alara. But she also learned that people here seem to have a negative opinion of Lady Ivy. This was further proved when Alara thought she saw Véres and approached a tall stranger with pink hair who called Ivy a murderer and told Alara not to be friends with her. After walking for what seemed like hours through the maze of city streets and homes, with the castle in view but never getting closer, Alara approached a friendly person named Sawara who escorted her to the castle and gave her some tips about the Fae and Ivy's reputation. Sadly, we won't learn of Alara's fate right now, because right now we're going to zoom in on darkness?
Darkness. There is nothing here but darkness and trees. The air itself is bending under the suffocating weight of the darkness, trying desperately not to yield, but starting to fail. The forest is still. The trees do not sway in a breeze. The underbrush does not move with life. From what we can see right now, it is silent. It feels like hands wrapping around our throat, like an unblinking, grim entity is holding us down and forcing this to be our last moments with free breath. Now we are unsure if the world is actually this dark, or if it's our body shutting down from lack of oxygen, if it's really our vision that's dark around the edges and not the forest in front of us. Finally, before we see stars, before we fall into Mortimer's warm embrace, there is an eruption of noise from our left as two squirrels dart into frame, circle each other, and dart off again. This simple act brings the forest to life. The trees start to sway, the bugs start to crawl. A butterfly, opalescent in color with stained glass eyes for wings, flitters from the tree line and down to our height, and moves around as though it's looking for something, landing on the forest floor for a moment as it looks around. Then we see a boot. No, wait, it's a loafer. No, now it's a heel? Finally, a boot again steps on the butterfly. The musical sound of broken glass rings loud, far too loud, through the air as it's crushed beneath the weight of something. For it is something. A creature with shifting features, phasing, glitching, in and out. It gives off a faint hum, like the static of an old box television in the afterglow of shutting down. As we stare at this creature, as it fills our vision and grabs our attention, we watch as it continues to shift. It cycles through different parts of faces, parts that don't match with the others, different noses and eyes and mouths and cranial features. It is never pleasing to look at. Every combination elicits unnerving at best, fear at most. It stares at us, through us, and maybe we're now wondering if this was the thing that had its hand around our throat. Behind it, we hear the crack of lightning, softer than the shadow of the butterfly, yet almost just as close. A portal tears open, stars and colors swirling in a cacophony that is blinding. Then, as quickly as it had come, it disappears, leaving behind a tall person with pink hair. Véres, you have now been deposited into this other world, basically. It's unlike anything you've ever been in before. What are you thinking right now?
Where's Alara, Ivy, and Bia?
I think you look around, maybe kind of hoping to see them, but as of right now, it is just you and... Roll me a perception check.
8?
8, okay. As of right now, it is just you. So you don't see Alara or Bia, which is strange because the last thing you remember was like holding on to both of them before falling through a portal. But you look around and they're nowhere in sight, and neither is Ivy. So you're in a forest. It's dark, and it feels darker than regular darkness. The ground beneath your feet is soft like a heavy bed of moss, but when you look down, it's all brown muck and dead leaves. There's a heaviness in the air, almost like it's suppressing your ability to breathe. It's quieter than a forest should be. There's sounds of life, sure, insects buzzing, chittering, twigs snapping, but it's dampened by the heavy, suppressing feeling that seems to be floating unseen in the air.
I think that he takes a moment to look around and kind of get his bearings a little bit, take in the scenery, the darkness. They're definitely not anywhere near where they were, but he has no idea where they could be or where he could be. I think that immediately a panic begins to set in as he looks around frantically, searching for Alara, Bia, or Ivy, and he can't find them. He's alone, and they probably are too. Well, there's no sense in continuing to worry. He's got to fight that off. He's going to push that down. The first order of business is to figure out where he is so he can find them. Does he have any idea where he is?
I think with that 8 perception check, no. But I will give you enough that it is not a place that you have been before. It is almost alien. The air is different here, but you're not sure why.
Okay. And I landed on my feet, did I?
Yes, you did. It's like whatever you went through, the portal that you just went through, sort of like deposited you onto the ground.
That's certainly an improvement from most times I've come through portals. And he kind of like dusts off his pants a bit, as if he had gone through a dust storm. He's gonna try to like get his bearings. Is there any way to discern what is north here, or is there a north here?
Give me a survival check.
Oh, that's better. That's better. Okay. 16.
So in this place, as you look up, you notice that the canopy is so dense that you can't actually see like a sun, but you can see the shafts of light that sort of poke through. And you notice that they're coming from the west, or what you would assume to be the west, if it's the same time it was back in Raves.
Okay. I think that he's gonna carefully, quietly, because he's not quite sure where he is, he's gonna look around for Ivy and Alara and Bia. Check trees, look for signs of movement, listen really close, whatever he has to do.
I think as you're looking around, you're sort of like swinging your gaze around, trying to be as quiet as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think as you're looking around, your gaze stutters over something in the distance. It at first moves forward. Like if we're looking at a camera, the camera is swinging through, and then you stop a little bit past it and zero back in. And it's the back of something. And it's just sort of standing there.
Humanoid?
It's humanoid, for sure. It's got 2 arms, 2 legs, a head. It is shaped like a human being with its back towards you.
I'd like to make a stealth check and kind of like try to get closer to it.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
How far away from this do you get?
I think close enough to make out what it is and what it's doing, but not close enough to be immediately discerned by it.
So I think you get within 20, 25 feet, maybe?
Yeah.
And as you're looking at it, I want you to roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy. I'm real good at those. Okay, that's a 14.
As you're watching this thing, you notice as its features glitch in and out. And that's not to say that they glitch from reality. It's to say that they're rapidly being replaced by other features. So if you look at its hand, for example, its left hand, you notice that at one point the fingers are long and thin, and then a second later they're short and stubby. And on these different parts of its cycle. And at first, you feel this like overwhelming sense of fear, of disgust, that you just want to get the fuck out of there. But after a second, you calm down and you sort of understand that like that's sort of like a feature of this thing. So if you look at it too long, it can cause you to go mad.
Yep. Going the other way of this creature.
Make another stealth check.
I think that's even better. 22.
Unfortunately, this thing rolled a nat 20 on its perception check.
Motherfuck. Go away.
So as you turn to book it, you feel the air shift. And it is at this moment that you realize there has been a consistent humming, a consistent buzzing. And you feel that buzz shift to the left. And it is suddenly very close. And you hear, "Hello."
Is there some kind of check I can make? Maybe history, I'm not sure. To figure out if I know what this is?
You can try to make a history check.
That's a dirty 20. I have a +7 to history.
You do not know specifically what this thing is, but there have been stories, equivalent of like horror books, basically, of things from the dark side of the Fae that can change what they are very quickly. There's never been like a name that has been jotted down, and truly when they are mentioned, it is mentioned in like this way of like, I heard of these things. I heard this thing. I never actually saw it.
From those readings, do I know if I should interact with it or if I should get the fuck out of there?
There's contradictory. Some people try and interact with it, some people don't. There's not one general consensus because these things are like the cryptid of cryptids. Some people say that they herald your doom. Some people say that they herald riches beyond your wildest dreams.
That's usually the doom option. If he remembers correctly. I don't think he looks directly at it yet, but he does answer. He says, "Hello."
You feel the static sort of like titter.
It's excited.
Yeah. And after a moment, it goes, "Have name?"
"You cannot have my name, but you may know it."
It laughs in 100 different voices. "Name?"
"Simon, and you?"
It shifts behind you, and now it's around the right side of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it studies you for a moment. And I want you to make a deception check.
23.
It believes you. "We don't have a name."
Is that by design or by choice?
Why are you here?"
Where exactly is here?
"The unseen."
I think they nod. It makes a lot of sense. Things start clicking in their head now.
Immediately.
Yeah. It's like, okay, not in Elsor anymore. How the fuck did they get here? So many questions are now kind of bubbling up. But mostly, fucking hell. Where the hells are Alara, Ivy, and Bia?
It shifts around you again, and you actually feel it shift in front of you and back around. And it's so fast that all you can see is like maybe 1 or 2 changes as it goes around you. And it's looking at your face as it does. And it goes, "Not here on purpose?"
No, not at all.
It titters again. You feel that static vibrate. "Oh, so lost?"
A little.
"Oh, she will be very, very pleased with us forgetting you." And then it shifts in front of you, and it stops. And you watch it reach out with a finger, and right before it gets to you, that finger disintegrates in a puff of smoke, and I need you to make a con save.
What the fuck?
It's a high DC, I'm just going to warn you.
It's a 21.
Unfortunately,
Shit.
I think Véres, in this moment, as it shifts right in front of you, and then does this wild fucking thing, you take a sharp breath, and you feel it slide down your throat. It feels gritty, almost like you just inhaled a little bit of sand. And as you're feeling the after effects of this,
Yeah, he's coughing.
yeah, you're coughing. You watch as the finger reforms on its hand, and it shifts to be taller than you. And it makes to reach for you, and all of a sudden you hear this fucking cacophony from behind you. And the squirrels that we saw earlier dart out.
So I think one of these squirrels darts right in between Véres and this creature. And in a puff of what almost looks like powder in this like pastel blue and pastel pink color, you watch the squirrel transform into, at first glance, what is a tangle of pastel blue and pink and like grayish hair that covers from head to toe, goes down to the floor. It is just bedraggled hair. And it takes a moment for this little ashen gray face to poke out. And you see these two horns that look like tree branches, very thin, that branch off, that come up out of this creature's head. It glances at you. You see like sharpened teeth. And then it glances at this creature. It takes a handful of something out of a pouch and just throws it at the creature.
And as this something makes impact with the creature, it screeches in 1,000 voices. And this time it fully phases out of existence. And you are left with this being that just popped out of a squirrel, and then another brown squirrel that is beside this being that is chittering up.
Hacking my loans up.
Yeah, you're hacking. Oh yeah, immediately.
Yep.
Creature who's like a halfling size, by the way. And the halfling is staring, just like head cocked to the side.
He looks very confused. This whole experience has been like an acid trip that he didn't want. And he's staring back.
They kind of like move their head forward a little bit.
Where did you come from?
Over there. And they point their finger.
I think they nod, looking in the direction they pointed. Well, I certainly appreciate you intervening.
Too late?
What do you mean?
It got you. RJ! And they look around.
The squirrel like hops up and down.
You watch them kind of point their finger. And again, in this like powder of pastel color, bamfs out of squirrel form.
So you see this human, tall human woman, 5'8", like burst out of the squirrel form basically in full plate armor. And she's got long brown hair that she sort of tucked into the back of the plate armor. And she shakes and sighs and she goes, Scout, why did you wait so long?
Scout forgot. And they're staring at Véres, just like transfixed.
The human that you now know as RJ looks at Véres and holds out her hand, like very formally. And she goes, my name's RJ. This is Scout.
I think he reaches out, takes the hand.
Scout puts their hand in between the two of you and moves RJ's hand away.
She looks at Scout.
So is Véres, very confused. He looks at RJ instead, lowering his hand, getting the clue to maybe not shake. You can call me Simon.
RJ nods, but like still looks at Scout, who's now basically holding her hand. Because RJ hasn't lowered her hand.
Scout licks the tip of their finger and points it at Véres and goes, this one will be dead. RJ, can I gut this one? And you watch this like icicle knife form out of the tip of her finger, and they move it forward a little bit and does like this like twisting motion as if they were like stabbing you in the stomach, and then drag it up like that.
Véres holds out his right hand and some vermilion mist begins to coalesce around it, but not quite forming.
RJ sighs this long, suffering sigh. Just, no, Scout. We've talked about this. They have to be dead first.
So, not to interrupt your conversation here, but
No, go ahead.
do you know what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Could you tell me?
She looks at Scout.
Scout shakes their head no.
Well, we could, but Scout doesn't like to give things for free.
Trade.
Oh, yeah. You could help us with this thing, and then we'll help you with your thing.
What do you need help with?
Killing a monster.
Well, you're in luck. That happens to be something I'm fairly good at. What sort of monster?
Bigger than you.
It's bigger than all of us, yeah.
Most of them are.
We need parts of it for something. But if you help us, we'll give you information about what just happened to you.
He thinks about it a moment. I think I'm going to need a little more than information.
Like what?
I need to get somewhere, and I have no idea where I am really.
You're in the Feywild.
I think that he smirks a bit and kind of nods a little to himself. You know, I had a feeling. I'm probably in the Seelie, or so that person, creature, whatever it was, said. I need to get to a place called Fellismore. So, if you can give me information and point me in the right direction, I will help.
I think RJ looks at Scout.
Won't make it to Fellismore. You'll die.
They shrug. I have to try. Why are you so certain that I'll die?
They point their finger at your mouth, like up. They look up. And they open their mouth.
Oh, so what I inhaled.
Well, and we can tell you more about it later, after.
Will I die before that?
No.
No.
Scout can end it now. We'll be better.
They mean your life.
I think they chuckle. Yeah, I kind of gathered that. Appreciate the clarification, though.
Well, they speak very cryptically sometimes, so you never know.
They nod. So, where's the creature?
Great. Okay. And you watch as RJ takes a step back and takes her hand and reaches behind her back and pulls out of this like red glitter mist a giant longsword, just seemingly out of nowhere, and goes, "It's this way. Let's go. I can tell you more about it on the way."
That would be appreciated. And should I be ready to go fight immediately, or is there a plan?
Kill.
Yeah. We don't really do plans.
He looks to the sky and nods a little, kind of waves his hand again, and fully apparating out of red smoke is his scythe, and he kind of puts it over his shoulder and walks with them.
RJ points.
Scout giggles and climbs on RJ's shoulder.
It's like the most natural thing, like they've done it thousands of times before.
RJ,
Yeah?
this one is magic.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Well, you... And she like mimes herself taking the sword out again.
Mm-hmm.
That's magic.
Sort of.
Did you study the arcane?
I did.
Magic.
Sure. Mm-hmm. I don't think that he knows why he's bothering to deny it. It's not like they're in Elisora anymore, and there's definitely no need to hide their abilities. It's not like he's gonna see them again after this, either. And I think that he also finds it interesting how quickly they figured out that it's some semblance of magic, and it hadn't dawned on Alara or Ivy once. At least not that they've mentioned.
As they start walking, Véres, do you walk like side by side? Do you walk behind? How are you going about this? Because RJ and Scout are like one unit right now.
I think almost side by side, but a little behind so he can keep them in his view.
Scout's watching like a hawk.
Okay, so as the three of us head out, basically we're going deeper into the forest. And you notice because the beams of light that you saw earlier are starting to become few and farther between. And as they're walking, RJ goes, "So like I said, we need the parts of this thing. As much as we can tell, there's not a lot of them, but we were able to track this one And then we got sidetracked.
You disturbed our hunting.
Who, I did?
Yeah, you threw off the magic.
How so?
She, breaks her hand up and down your general vicinity.
He waits for a further explanation.
Why did Simon come here?
It was not intentional.
From where?
Elisora.
They shake their head. Different world.
I assume so. Are you folks from the Fae?
RJ nods.
Scout is not. Only bad people come here. This one is bad, RJ.
You don't know that, Scout.
Scout knows. Scout doesn't care.
RJ looks at Simon and goes, "Are you bad?"
And he thinks about it. He actually has to think about it. I think I am. But I'm trying not to be.
Try harder.
He nods.
RJ just goes, "Scout."
They shrug. Only bad people come here.
What do you mean? You mean in this area or in the Fae in general?
Feywild. Accidents get sorted by their deeds.
He nods and he feels, you see a little bit of a weight lift from his shoulders. He's relieved to hear that.
Are you just one?
No, I fell through with 2 others and a pseudo-dragon. I don't know where they are, but it's a comfort to know they are likely somewhat safer.
Probably dead.
Mm-hmm.
You could be right, but it's unlikely. One of them is from here, and the other, she's smart and resourceful. They'll be alright. He sounds confident in them, but he's still a bit worried. He knows they'll survive, but there are many variations of what surviving means. And he knows better than most that sometimes the things you have to do to survive can be cruel. He just hopes he can get to them soon.
You'll join them. Soon.
RJ just shakes her head.
Because of the finger dust I inhaled, I'm aware.
Scout nods.
So who was that?
That is after we kill the fleur beast.
The what?
The fleur beast?
History check. Does he know what the fuck that is?
Roll, baby!
22.
So similar to the glitches, it is another sort of cryptid, right? It is also another one of those things that could be good or bad, mostly bad, but it differs on what it looks like.
He nods. It's like, alright. And when we defeat this creature, you'll give me information and point me where I need to go.
Scout holds up a finger. Nothing is free.
In life in general, or just here in the Fae?
For me, you help, we give. One thing, you choose.
He looks at you and says, I'm happy to go about this alone.
Okay. Won't make it far. You can die. Scout can kill you.
I think a kind of dangerous smile comes across his face. You're welcome to try. I could use the warm-up.
Scout hisses.
I think as this conversation is happening, everybody roll me a perception check.
Lucky 13!
Oh, Blazy.
Wait, but Scout actually has stats. Unlike Alara.
That's a dirty 20. That's not bad, actually. That's really good.
21.
Okay. So everybody notices this thing down about 60 feet. Everybody turns and watches as this thing comes out of the ground, basically. It's the size of a Kodiak bear. It's fleshy, with thick, powerful arms and legs. You notice it has opposable thumbs, and the hands look remarkably human. Its face comes to a point and is roughly the size of its body. No eyes, but there are 4 slits halfway back on its head that flare as you watch it. You suspect that this is how the thing breathes, basically. And the way that it moves with your perception check, maybe this is how it smells. As you watch it, you see it walk on all fours, but after it exits fully, it raises onto its hind legs, using its long and thick tail as a stability point. It plops back onto the ground with a loud thunk, the forest floor rattling beneath you. It's still, ways away, but in a moment, it starts running fast towards where you are. It doesn't run directly at you, but it's obviously found something. You watch as it runs like 25 feet, and then stops. The point of its head peels back in 4 sections. The first 5 inches revealing small teeth in the shape of hooks, which it uses to attach itself to the flesh of the head. As it does, it curls farther and farther back to reveal rows and rows of teeth. At the center is a beak like an octopus. You watch as the beak opens and its whole body motions up and down, up and down. It's smelling, you realize. After a moment, its head returns to the version you first saw, and it continues on its path towards you, having rerouted itself to directly head at you.
Me?
The 3 of you. As this monster is charging towards you, RJ looks at you, Simon.
He's still got his scythe lashed across his shoulders.
Yeah. Knowing the after effects of Scout as a being, and goes, "Don't listen to Scout. I promise you will get your information. Please just help us kill this thing."
Looking forward to more than information.
Whatever.
He just looks at her.
She's like wild-eyed nodding.
Information and getting where I need to go.
Yeah, we'll get you to a teleportation station. It's fine. Let's do this.
All right. He takes up the fighting stance and rages.
Perfect. Everybody, roll initiative.
Well, I only got a 6.
Oh, Boise.
I'll be hanging back for a bit.
I got a dirty 20.
Véres, you are up first.
I'm first? Shit.
Yeah, you're first.
Didn't expect that. It's running towards us?
Oh yeah, at like a dead sprint.
Amazing. I'm gonna run to meet it. I'm gonna run up to it, and I think he's gonna do an underhand over the shoulder kind of spin of the scythe and go it down on its head.
Okay.
25 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
That's gonna be 14 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
For a second hit, I think he's gonna use the momentum from that to try to I don't know if this is gonna have to be like an acrobatics check, but for flavor, I'd like to use the momentum of it to flip up onto it and get on and stand on it.
Yeah, acrobatics.
To hit it again. Acrobatic.
Yeah.
It's the 19.
Yeah, so you're successful. You're able to use the momentum to flip up onto its back.
Perfect. And then I think he's gonna, as he's flipping up, when he is almost right line to stand up properly, he's gonna rip the scythe out of it, and with the momentum of coming down, he's gonna stab into the head again.
Okay.
That's a 19.
That hits.
15 points.
Great. So you are able to slice into it twice, and now you are up on its back. That is going to be RJ's turn. So RJ is going to also run at this thing, swinging her sword up in the air. As she does, she's going to try and come down onto one of the seams of its head. A 25 to hit. That'll hit.
Nope.
And so you watch as she comes down with this sword, and as it does, it sort of lights in red flame. As she slashes into it, it's 12 points of damage. And then she's going to bring the sword around and strike it again for her second attack.
Get it.
Fuck it up.
That is a 17. That hits. Awesome. And that is going to be 11 points of damage. So she hits it twice on the seam, and you see it sort of nick a little bit, and you can see a couple of the teeth peek through where she's hacked into it. And that is going to be the beast's turn. So the beast is going to very quickly open its mouth and try and bite into RJ. And he doesn't hit.
Okay.
So it basically bounces off of RJ's plate mail, and that is its attack. It is now Scout's turn.
Scout is going to whisper something under their breath, and you're going to watch this black smoke come out of their mouth, and it flies up towards the, 4 nostril slits?
Yeah, so there's 2 on each side.
It's going to fly up and kind of surround this thing's face for a second, and when it inhales, it's going to inhale the black smoke. as I hex the creature's constitution. And then Scout is going to spit up into the air and point their finger as the spit forms into a blade of ice, and they're going to shoot ice knife at the creature. That's a 19 to hit.
That hits.
So that's going to be
2d6 explosive damage.
Yeah, so it's going to be 6 points of piercing, and then the shard explodes, the spit shard explodes, and everybody in 5 feet needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Thank God for advantage.
11.
So you fail.
19.
Okay, you pass. Does the creature fail?
Yes.
RJ and the creature take 4 points of cold damage as this thing explodes, and Véres takes 2.
Cool.
And then the creature takes an additional 3 points of damage.
Okay. Scout has just beamed this thing with an ice shard, which has then exploded. And Véres, it is now your turn.
Oh, amazing. I'm on its back.
Mm-hmm. Feeling the sting of icicles.
Yep, I feel the sting of cold. I'm used to that, though. Ivy does that sometimes.
Back at home.
Yeah, this is familiar to me. Does he see this? Is the slits on the back of its head or the front?
So like where a neck would be.
So like gills, kind of.
Yeah.
He's gonna try to cut into one of those. Let's like reel back and swing at it for a 25 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Hell yeah. 10 points of slashing damage, and then he's gonna reel back for another one.
Mm-hmm. Be surprised if he didn't.
22 to hit.
That hits.
That's 7 points of slashing.
Yeah, it roars as you cut into its, like, for lack of a better term, gills, basically. And it is now RJ's turn. RJ is going to hack into it again with her longsword.
Nice.
That is an 18 that hits. 14 points of damage. And then she's going to rear back and hit it again.
Yeah.
That also hits. Still 11 points damage. Okay. So her blade arcs through the air as it cuts further into this thing's snout. And it is now going to be the beast's turn. So the beast is going to open its mouth very quickly in that fashion that you saw earlier, where it hooks and like goes backwards.
Nasty.
And it is going to rear back on its hind legs. And Véres, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw to stay on.
18.
So you're able to like hold on as it rears back.
Like a bull.
Yeah, basically.
At a rodeo.
And it is going to try and stomp on RJ.
Oof. Come on, RJ.
Okay, that does hit. So you watch as the beast basically stomps RJ into the ground as she takes 22 points of damage.
Oh boy. How's she looking?
She's okay. She's about half hit points.
Okay.
And now she has to make probably strength. Yeah, she makes it. She's good. She's able to stand back up, groaning as she does. Okay, and that is now Scout's turn.
I think seeing RJ get knocked down, Scout runs over, and as they're running, their fingernails grow even longer and sharper into these like points that start dripping with acid. I think Scout is going to try to leap up onto RJ and get like a jump and claw into this creature and then drag their way down. Is it like a dex or like acrobatics maybe?
I would give acrobatics.
Let's go Scouty. So that's 11 plus 6, so that's a 17.
That works. That works.
Yeah, that's a 16 plus 8 is 20 whatever. You know that number. And then that's going to be 12. No, that's going to be, Jesus, 15 points of acid damage as Scout bounds up RJ's plate mail very much like a squirrel, leaps off, and then with their fingernails, like hooks into this thing's face area and slices down as acid leaches from their fingertips. And then as they drop back down onto the ground, you see the black smoke as the hex does another 2 points of damage.
Wow. Okay.
And Scout hisses at the thing.
It's starting to look a little bit rough. You notice black ichor start to like bleed from these wounds. Véres, it is now your turn.
Awesome. Seeing that it's looking worse for wear and bleeding, he's just gonna lift up and do take another slash at its gills there. 22.
That hits.
Fuck it up.
8 points of slashing damage, and then another one. 24. I assume that hits too.
Yeah.
That's 15 points of slashing damage. And he's gonna stay on it.
I need RJ to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
No, not RJ. 18.
Get a girl.
No.
No?
Sorry.
Okay.
No.
An 18 doesn't save. I'm fucked.
So suddenly, in a lull of this battle for a second, everybody feels the ground beneath them start to rumble.
Mm-hmm.
RJ, this is a familiar sensation for you, and I think for Scout too. Scout definitely looks over, trying to search for the source of the rumbling. And RJ, you feel this sense of fear wash over you as a tower erupts out of the ground so high that it breaks through the tree line above. And as it settles, the rumbling stops, and you all watch as these thousands of humanoid arms burst from the stone and start to claw and crawl their way towards you all.
A tower with multiple arms.
A tower with multiple arms
Starts to climb it, crawl its way towards the party.
Yes, and as it comes into range, I need you all to make dex saves because all of these hands are trying to grab at anything they can reach.
What the actual fuck is this?
That's a 16 for RJ.
Okay.
That's an 18 for Véres.
What about the monster?
It wants to nom nom the monster.
Oh, that's a 4.
Okay. So everybody but RJ and the monster save.
Rude.
Okay, Véres and Scout, you see arms reach out, and I think you both deftly skirt around the flurry beast, escaping the hands. Now, the beast is going to take 4 points of assorted, bludgeoning and slashing damage as these hands hit it, but they can't grab onto it because it's too big. But what they do grab, though, is you, RJ. And I need you to make a strength saving throw to try to break free of their grasp.
22.
Okay, so you successfully break free from the grasp, and you also take that 4 points of assorted damage as they grab at you.
Fair enough. As long as I'm out of its grasp, I'm fine with that.
And carry on. Sorry for the interruption.
No, now there's just a fucking tower with arms.
Made
here?
of arms, yeah.
That is going to be RJ's turn. RJ is going to attack the tower. In fact, I think Véres, she will notice, and Scout already knows this, RJ has no choice but to attack the tower right now. She's got this look of fear, and she's just staring at the tower as it crawls closer.
I hate every fucking word of that. What in the 9 hells is that?
RJ, don't look.
Okay, yeah, she's just gonna swing at the tower. Does a 18 plus 7, 26 hit? Okay.
Take your pick of the thousands of arms that you want to grab at.
Arm number 398.
Okay.
15 points of damage for the first attack.
Amazing.
Listen, RJ did say that they needed a hand.
26 for the next attack.
Yeah.
10 points of damage.
So you wind up, you cut through one, and then you kind of slash into another as you go.
Well, that is now the beast's turn. So the beast is going to charge at Scout. So it's going to make a bite attack.
Mm-hmm.
And then I need Scout to make a DC 13 strength saving throw.
Oh boy. Strength is not the strong suit. Yeah, that's a fail.
Does a 24 hit?
Mm-hmm.
So you are now knocked prone. It is going to bite you for 24 points of damage. And then it's going to make a bonus attack and try to stomp you. Does a 13 hit?
No, it does not.
So Scout is able to roll very quickly out of the way. This thing its mouth is huge. So I think what happened is it enclosed around you and then let you go.
There is a chunk of Scout's body missing, and they are hunched over, just trying to hold their innards in, I think.
Okay, well, with that, it is now Véres' turn. Véres, who is still on this thing's back, by the way.
Yeah, he is, which is honestly a very strategic point to be in this case. But he's going to forego that strategy and flip off of it and get in front of its face. I would like to take a hack at its face, please.
Yeah, hack away.
So polite.
Please.
That hits. It's 20 something.
Yeah, that hits.
11 points of slashing damage, and then it's gonna take another whack at it, aiming for a gill again.
Mm-hmm. Naturally.
23, I think. So that's 9 points of slashing damage, and he's gonna stay in its face and try to trying to draw its attention.
Okay. That's RJ's turn. Can I try to break the tower's hold over me after seeing what just happened to Scout?
Yeah, make a wisdom save.
22?
Yeah, so I think that seeing Scout in such distress, you're able to break this mental hold the tower has on you and overcome your fear. And Véres, you see RJ physically break from some sort of hold. And RJ, you're going to take 7 points of psychic damage as you watch the colors of the tower swirl almost nauseatingly into a regular tower and then back to the hands, and then it morphs into a grassy landscape. The colors bleed together and it shifts and swirls and changes so quickly that you all feel yourself kind of lurching with it. And then it swirls tightly in on itself until the tower is gone. And RJ, you still have your turn.
Cool. One last thing to worry about until it comes back, but
Yeah, so you watch as RJ sort of full body shakes and her armor clangs as she does, as she shakes out what's going on and start hacking away at the thing's gills a la Véres on the other side. So that hits. That is a 15. That is 14, 17 points of slashing damage and fire damage. And then that also hits 12 points of damage. Okay, so it's starting to look rough. The beast is going to attack Véres.
Cool.
It's going to try and bite Véres.
Come at me, bro.
Does a 24 hit?
It definitely does, yep.
26 points of damage.
Halved.
To 13. So it bites Véres's shoulder area. So one arm goes completely into the mouth as it bites in and then lets go.
He definitely grunts to the pain. That's all right.
You need to make a DC 15 dexterity check.
That's a dirty 20.
Yeah. So you're able to it was going to hold on to you, but you're able to wriggle free as it adjusts basically.
Okay, cool.
Okay. That is now Scout's turn.
Scout, with their free hand that's not clutching their injury, is going to dig their free hand into the dirt, into the muck, and kind of reach down until they can grasp, I think, some kind of vines or roots or something, which are then going to travel to the creature. I think Scout's going to send out some necrotic energy that's going to travel through the root up to where the creature is standing. As they cast Wither and Bloom, the creature must make a Constitution saving throw.
It's a nat 1.
Okay, so it's going to take 8 points of necrotic damage plus an additional 6 for the hex.
Okay.
And then Scout is going to get back. So Scout's going to get back 15 points of healing.
Good.
As we transfer some of that energy back. Véres, you will actually watch as Scout's wound heals. When they take their arm away, there's nothing there. They're healed. It's like there was no wound at all. There's no scar. It looks like nothing happened.
Unfair. Very cool.
Véres, with that, it is now your turn. What are you going to do? What you got for me?
Faintly, you just hear him under his breath be like, what the hell? He's still in its face. He's going to hit it again. One going for the head, and the other one is going to try to underhand swing into this chest-esque area.
Okay. Yeah, there's a chest. There's
chest.
Yeah.
Whatever that is going on there. 19 plus 6. I'm sure that hits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm not calculating
It's
anymore.
nice when you don't have to do the math for it, you know?
It is.
Yeah.
So first one is 13 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And the one going underhand into the chest cavity. I don't need to math. It's 18 plus something.
Yeah, you're good.
15 points of slashing damage for that.
Okay.
And he's just gonna rip it out and kind of stand ready to attack it again.
Amazing.
All right, so you take 2 slashes at it, and it roars out in pain. It is you notice that from its gills, the black ichor is starting to gush now. That is RJ's turn. RJ is going to try and go for another one of its flaps. That hits. It's a 15 plus whatever. 7 points of damage. You can tell that she is like pretty bloody. She's not doing too great.
Oh yeah. Scout's really bad at healing people.
But that is another hit, so she's gonna heave a deep breath and just swing. 15 points of damage. This thing is looking rough. The beast is going to attack Véres. It is gonna try and bite Véres again. 13. Does a 22 hit?
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
That is going to be 18 plus 6 for 12 points of damage. So that's gonna hit, but you're also gonna watch as RJ like gets this like pep in her step, and she's gonna use the sentinel to make an attack.
Ooh, get it.
Get it, girl. Get it, girl.
So she's gonna deal another 16 points of damage. Véres, I need you to make a dexterity check for me, please.
Cool. He's looking great, guys.
Is he fucking fucked up?
He's fucked up. Yeah. I'm so glad that we're here today. That's 16.
You just beat it.
Oh
Okay,
my god.
Nice.
So you're able to like shimmy out of the way. Your shirt is torn
I feel like
to
he
shreds.
just like ragdolls out.
He ragdolls.
His body like drops to the floor and he stands pretty quickly, but his shirt is now just in the monster's mouth.
He actually throws his arms up in the air. And he's just like, what the fuck? Another one.
And that is now Scout's turn.
All right. Scout is gonna.
Is Hex concentration?
Yes.
Oh boy.
You should be rolling concentration
She
checks
got
for everyone.
rocked like 17
Just-
times.
Roll me a concentration check just super
Okay.
quick. We'll just do one.
7.
No, yeah, so Hex is dropped.
Scout is going to fuck. Everybody's
There's-
looking real fucked up.
Yeah, everybody. RJ's like one good hit away from this thing.
Yeah, same.
Are Véres and RJ kind of next to each other?
Yeah.
Scout mutters something under their breath and does this quick hand motion, and as they throw their hand out, in between the space of Véres and RJ, there is this kind of floating sphere of what looks like that powder, that mix of those pastel colors. You both heal 1d6. I know it's not a lot, but it stays there.
Do we roll or you roll?
You roll. Or I can roll. I mean, I don't know. Whoever, if you guys want to roll for...
I got a 4, so I'll
Okay.
take it.
I did too.
Hey!
They're going to skirt around the creature, like towards the backside, and they're going to very quickly scratch their scalp, and all of these bugs are going to fly out of their hair as I cast infestation
Beautiful.
on the creature.
Cool.
That's so gross.
It needs to make a Constitution saving
Natural one.
throw. Okay, so it's going to take 9 points of poison damage as these mites and fleas and bugs just start biting it.
This is my worst nightmare.
Yeah, same, actually.
Scout is the personification of my worst nightmare.
Yeah, so it is looking really bad.
Cool.
Really bad. Véres, it is now your turn.
He's getting extra pissed off.
Oh, when your turn starts, you get another d6 of hit points back.
Amazing. Maybe that's what fuels his anger. He feels better. Oh, a 6!
Nice.
Fuck.
You watch
Hey.
it like as you start to go, you watch the sphere like pulse and it gets brighter for a second and you feel some healing energy.
Amazing. I think that he's getting kind of like pissed off and like he's over this. He's so over this. He's gonna, with some extra anger behind it, just take two attacks at it. The first one's gonna be directly in the face.
Okay.
15 plus stuff.
Is it possible in this turn for you to roll below a 7?
Yes,
Okay, roll.
that's an 8.
Okay, how do you kill it?
Hey!
He's gonna flip the scythe over his shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gonna come down overhead with the blade. He's gonna stab into the base of the head he thinks might be, and he's going to pull back and kind of tear it open, essentially.
Okay. Yeah. With a heaving grunt, this thing splays out and dies.
Amazing.
You have just defeated the beast.
Hey!
Fleur beast.
Hooray!
Amazing. He's gonna look around for anything else.
Give me a perception check.
What the fuck else is here?
You both get another d6 of healing.
Oh, thank God.
Just as long as you don't move out of that sphere.
Another 4.
It's a 9.
You don't see anything, Véres, but you watch as RJ looks around.
You both get another d6 of healing.
A 5.
5 again.
You watch as RJ looks around and her sword disappears in a puff of red glitter smoke.
There's one more healing left, whoever wants it.
Why does a scout take it?
Scout runs up on the monster because they were behind it, jumps off and like lands in between the two of you and like pushes you both out of the sphere and gets the last pump of healing.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it's only 3.
All that work.
Hey, every little bit counts, you know?
Yeah.
I think Véres, seeing RJ let her sword go away, he takes one cursory glance around again and lets his scythe dissipate in a swirl of vermilion smoke.
I think it's quiet for a moment as we all reflect on what just happened.
Yeah, he's got his, like, Véres has his, like, hands on his legs, essentially, kind of, like, crouching down a little bit to catch his breath. And, like, what the fuck just happened? You know?
I think after a moment, RJ takes a knife out of, like, her boot, which is armor, and starts heading towards the belly of this beast. And if nobody's going to stop her, she slices into it and cuts diagonal along its stomach. And you watch as these contents spill out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And she full on reaches in with both hands and roots around, finds an organ. If you want to make a medicine check.
I'm also real good at those. 13.
It is, it's an organ that's about the size of a basketball. That's all you really know. And she takes it out, uses her knife, cuts into it, and removes, like, it's about the size of, like, her palm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this, like, nodule of tangled fiber, basically. And she hands it to Scout.
Scout eats it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Scout does not eat it.
Scout puts it in their pack.
Mm-hmm. And she wipes the blood off. She goes, okay, let's make camp.
Right here with the creature?
No, I mean, we don't have to right here. We can go a ways away if you want.
I believe that would be wise, considering scavengers would come for the corpse, would they not?
She nods.
After you two.
So the 3 of them do find, like, a suitable spot. They've set up a fire, and RJ is now sitting around the fire, and she sort of nudges Scout. She goes, okay, tell them.
I think Scout looks at Simon and, like, cocks their head again.
Whatever Scout doesn't answer, I'll answer. So don't worry about that.
Véres chuckles and says, I appreciate that. So you said you were going to explain to me about this dying thing?
Scout lifts up their hand, and you see on their left wrist there is like a blue frayed kind of band of braided leather, and there's like a little satchel that's hanging off of it. And they put it up to like your face, like close enough that you could like smell a scent.
I think he holds his breath.
When you hold your breath, they kind of like wave it, like dangle it around in your face for you to like smell the scent. And when you just like don't breathe, they go, breathe.
What does it do?
We'll show your curse.
They breathe.
So make a Constitution saving throw.
22.
Nice. Véres, you inhale this kind of earthy but pleasant scent, and it's almost like you can feel it seeping into you, and your chest tightens. And you feel this sharp pain. And then you can almost feel this like corrupted feeling inside of you. It's moving, trying to escape as whatever you inhaled tries to like mingle with it. And for a moment you can't breathe and you start to cough. And after like a couple of seconds of coughing, you spit up these dried herbs and the feeling subsides. And I think Scout clicks their tongue as they see the herbs and they go, you'll die. And then they look at RJ. Sad. Big one is strong.
He looks at the herbs. They just spit out and like wipes any excess off of his mouth. What the fuck is that? Can I make a check on the herbs?
You can make a medicine or an arcana check.
Arcana. 19.
So you look at them and you don't get any sense of anything magical. But you know there must be some kind of like transmutation involved because you inhaled nothing and you spit something out.
It's how we know if you have it too.
All right. I think that he's really frustrated, mostly with their vague answers, to be honest. So, you keep saying I'm going to die. This isn't new knowledge. What I'm wanting to know is how long do I have? What's causing it? I would appreciate some clear answers.
Well, it's complicated. There's this and the words die on her lips and she starts to like choke, and you see this purple like light in the shape of an X forms on her throat, and she starts like grunting in pain and can't like stop. Like she's trying very hard to not scream right now.
Scout whips their head around and I think takes one of their like long fingernails and like rakes it right across your cheek, and you say you take 1 point of piercing damage.
And this damage knocks her out of like this fit she was having. She looks at Véres sort of apologetically. She goes, "We can't give you details like that.
Cursed.
But you have this." She's really thinking, because she wants to tell him. Like you can tell that she's very like trying to be genuine. And she goes, "It is the same for you as for us."
So should I expect the tower made of arms to start chasing me around?
No. RJ's curse. And Scout shakes their wrist with the pouch of herbs. Free. Different now. Protected.
So what I have is worse?
Scout shakes their head.
Do you have any spare herbs?
From home. Home far.
He nods.
You come. And they point to themselves. With us. Maybe cure. Maybe kill.
We're trying to... She like rakes her thumb across her throat. The thing that did this to... and she motions between herself, Scout, and you, Simon.
Mm-hmm.
Us.
So whatever you both have, I have as well.
She waffles her hand, but nods.
Same entity, though.
They both nod.
Okay. Where are you going?
We're going to a town called Deniglen. You should come with us.
As much as I would like to, I need to make sure those other two are safe.
Are you sure they didn't come here?
I'm sure. If what you said about how the face sorts people is true, there's no way they would have come here.
Well, there are two other places that they could have gone. Either the Seelie or the in-between.
The only place that all three of us are aware of is Fellismore, so I need to get there.
Does anyone in your party know of anything in the Fae?
One of us do. One of us is from here.
And you're sure they would go to the Kingdom City?
I'm sure.
It's a very hard place to get into if you're not welcome. And very few are welcome.
Bad ones not welcome.
I don't need to be welcome. I've never been welcomed anywhere. That's the least of my worries.
You stay. Fight together. Scout won't gut you.
That's high praise coming from Scout.
Words bind. Here. Scout cannot lie. RJ cannot lie.
Well, that's different.
Is that something that happens over time?
Yes and no.
I think that he's thinking about that because he definitely can't lie. He has multiple times since he's been here. So it must be something that happens over time. Or he's lucky and it doesn't affect him. But he's never been lucky, so... I think he's quiet for a moment, just thinking, and he goes, "So you two are heading to this place called Deniglen," he said.
They both nod.
Is that where the person responsible is?
That's what we think, yeah.
Well, if what you said is true, and my time is limited, then once I find out that they're safe, I'll probably have to head there too. So either way, I'll meet up with you again. But I do need to go there first, to Fellismore.
Teleportation to Fellismore. Long travel. Time is weird. Strange. Could take forever.
Or you could arrive yesterday.
Yesterday, too.
Do you want to rest for the night, or do you want us to lead you to the teleportation station?
Is it close by?
Maybe. Depends.
You're going to get that answer a lot around here.
He looks down at his hands, kind of opening and closing the one that he, in another form, has a scar through, similar to the one that Alara just got, and how he's thinking about the state that they all left in, and how everything that they have to talk about. I think that he knows that even if he wanted to sleep and rest, even if he needed to, he'd never sleep. He needs to get to them. I think now is best. There's no telling how much time has passed already, and I don't want to leave them for much longer.
All right.
Scout will douse the fire.
RJ starts packing up all, their stuff.
You watch Scout disappear into this, puff of that pastel-colored powder, and they shift back into their squirrel form and then climb up RJ.
And as Scout kind of, nuzzles up into RJ's shoulder, she looks at you and says, all right, Simon, are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
You travel for what seems like hours and hours. The forest is still dense, but after a while, the canopy starts to break and sunlight starts to filter through. The muck at your feet starts to turn this deep forest green color, and eventually RJ leads you to what looks like a giant old oak tree. And in the center, in the shape of a door, are these runes, arcane runes that go up and down and around. And she motions to it and she goes, okay, well, think really hard about where you want to go.
So, what do you do if you don't know what it looks like? You just think of the name?
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright. Before I go, I have not been honest with you. My name is Véres.
It's nice to officially meet you, Véres.
And you as well. See you around, perhaps.
We'll see you in Deniglen.
Maybe. He smiles. If I don't die first.
Scout chitters.
Just side-eyes Scout.
RJ pats Scout's head and goes, I think you've got one of the better chances.
Appreciate that. And he turns and walks into the portal.
Thanks so much for listening. We're incredibly grateful for the love and support.
And P.S., if you want more content, check out our Patreon for free clips, bonus scenes, and if you join the Red Rogues, you'll get access to the Rainbow Dice Club chat and after show where we talk about past episodes.
If you're enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review and tell your friends about us.
Special thanks to our Green Fiend Patreon supporters, Jen Bear and Michael.
And with that, our story pause is here for today. Join us next time as we continue our adventures, and remember, it's never too late to start your own.
Bye! I love this for me. Me as Weira is very disturbed. Véres is like, kin? Question mark? I have to think of a name, guys. I should have thought of this.
Sarev.
Sarave.
Jennifer Roundbottom.
Jackson Roundbottom.
So many Roundbottoms running around the Feywild.
He didn't consent to the acid trip, is what you're telling me?
He also didn't consent to this finger down his throat, like we are.
It didn't actually go down his throat. Just its dust.
In powder form, my dude. It's still a finger.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't want someone's cremation dust down my throat. Oh.
Why not? How tall did I make her?
I always thought she was a giant, and you were always like, she's not that tall.
So then she's probably 5'4" then. Okay. Because it's either 6'2" or 5'4". Yeah, fuck it, she's 6'2". You see no.
Make her like 5'8".
Yeah, okay.
That's average, right?
Yeah.
He's just thinking about the contrast to from Scout to Alara and how forthcoming she is, and he's wondering if this is how she feels.
Why are you laughing? I don't like it. Treeportation station.
I've been itching to use that.
Treeportation words. Treeportation station. That sounds so good.
It does.
So I need to make a ranged spell attack?
Yes.
I forgot how to
That would
play
be
D&D.
wild
I
if the
swear to
beast
God,
was making
I
a ranged
forgot
spell
how to
attack.
play D&D for a second. I was like, how does this work again?
It happens.
It's been a while since we fought something, guys. You know,
It
Yeah.
has.
69. Nice.
16. Oh, your hit points?
Yeah.
Nice.
Noise.
Sorry.
Sorry, there's a car going by.
Laura's car?
Mm-hmm. It's here.
Alara?
Laura's driving through the Seelie right now. After this new fucked up development.
One of those fever nightmares that you get when
Yeah.
you take too much cold medication. There's just like, I can wake up anytime now. That'd be great. Thank you.
I just made that up.